Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going into our telling time lesson where we're going to focus on learning about reading clocks on the hour. So, what it is at every hour. And then we'll go into half hours. And then as you get older, we'll go into quarter hours and every minute on the clock. There's two different kinds of clocks that we will be learning about. And I'm going to draw them for you. So, one is typically a circle and it has hands, not real hands, but it has a little one, which is the hour hand, and it has a long one, which is the minute hand. And actually, I'm going to erase this part because they, in this program, have the minute hand as blue. Okay, and how I remember that is this little chant. So do this with me. I'll show you first. Hour, minute. So my hour hand is short. Hour, minute. And even if you hear the words hour, one syllable, minute, minute, two syllables. So the hour hand's small and short. Minute hand's long. Hour, minute, tick tock, boom. Time to listen. Time to listen. Ready? Hour, minute, tick tock, boom. Time to listen. All right, so that's how I remember the hour hand and the minute hand, which is which. So this right here is called an analog clock. You say analog? Analog. Kind of fun, has the word log in it. And we also have digital clocks, which normally look like this. And it does not have hour hands or minute hands. It doesn't have hands at all. It just has numbers. And so it's actually a little easier to read. And you'll see them more often because we have more digital devices now. For example, cell phone. So if you look here, hold mine up, see if you can see it. You see my digital my digital clock at the top says 9:22. It's really small, but you'll see that on phones. Oh, here's a bigger one. There's my clock, 9:22. You'll see them on stoves, stovetops, microwaves, maybe the TV. An alarm clock is probably a digital clock. And like I said, this one's the easier one because it just shows us right here. This section right here tells us the hour, and this section over here tells us the minute. So for example, if I put 3 in here, it's on the 3 o'clock hour. If I put 30, a 30, that tells me it's 3:30. So these little dots in the middle separate the hours from the minutes. And this is our easy, nice digital clock. This one is the harder one, analog. You actually have to figure out the time. You have to do some work. So we'll be learning mostly about the analog clock today, but we will talk about the digital clock too, because it's important that you know how to read both, because you will still see the analog clocks. And there's actually some really cool, fun ones. Maybe I'll show you my clock later in our house. That's kind of a fun one that's an analog clock. So you want to be able to read those. We are on page 519 today, so go ahead and open to that if you're not already there. We have a try it problem, and notice it has a label here telling me that this is an hour hand, right? Hour, minute, tick tock, boom. Time to listen. Here's the problem. It is 2 o'clock. Next, it is just past 2 o'clock. Then it's almost 3 o'clock. Then it's 3 o'clock. Where is the hour hand at each time? So what I want you to do is think about what's happening in the problem. And the hour hand, it's important to know, hour and the minute hand, which direction they go on this clock. On all clocks, they go this way. Okay, so you can see it is 2 o'clock. It starts on 2. Then the hour hand is going to start moving this direction, going this way. 2, 3, in order of the numbers, okay? Now, what are we trying to find out? Think about that as I read this problem one more time. It is 2 o'clock. Next, it is just past 2 o'clock. Then it is almost 3 o'clock. Then it is 3 o'clock. Where is the hour hand at each time? And I like that they have some temporal words in there. So this is telling us that things are happening in order, right? So first it's 2 o'clock, and they did that for us. Next, we need to show just past 2 o'clock. Then it is almost 3. So be thinking about what that means and where that means that hand would be. Then it is 3. So it starts on 2, goes just past 2, almost 3, now it's 3. I want you to show where the hour hand is at each time on your clock. Now would be a great time, so you can draw your clocks, which might be a little hard, or in your yellow math folder, there is a clock in there that looks like this, an analog clock. And there's also a tiny little, this is called a brad, in your bag. Not your most recent one, your one that you got last time where that yellow math folder came in. So you'll want this brad and you'll want this so that you can put together your clock. And I will show you in just a second what it looks like when you put it together. But you're going to want to cut along here, cut out all the numbers, glue the numbers in order. So it goes 12, it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll stick this with the minute and the hour hand in the middle. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's my clock. And to make the hole in the middle, I just took a pen, set this paper on the carpet, and poked a hole with my pen in the middle. I did the same thing for my little minute and hour hand. And then I stuck my brad right through it so they're still closed. Okay, stuck that through it, and then I'll stick it also through the middle. Then flip it over, and this little thing opens up and bends back. And then we can move our hour hand and our minute hand around. And you might have to loosen it a little bit. So here's my clock. You can use yours to build those times to do that try it problem, or you can draw them. If you get this done, then this will actually, you'll be able to use this throughout some of the lessons. So it might be a good idea if you have this and you still know where these are to go ahead and build this clock to do your try it problem. All right, go ahead on page 519 and solve your problem. Find the different times. Let's take a look. So I'm going to leave my minute hand. We're not going to pay attention to the minute hand for now. We're just going to look at the hour hand. If it's 2 o'clock, it would be right on the 2. If it's just past 2 o'clock, I'm just going to move it a little bit below the 2. If it's almost 3, I'm going to move it so it's pointing to the top of the 3. So it's almost 3 o'clock. And then when it's 3 o'clock, it's going to point right to the middle of the 3. How'd you feel? How'd you do? Did that work out okay? And remember, you could have drawn yours too if you didn't have the materials to build them. We're now on page 520. Go ahead and turn to page 520. And the hour hand shows, here's the model. The hour hand shows the time. So right here, just like the activity we did. So it says just past, what hour is it just past? Remember, these big, bold numbers all tell us the hour. So if it's 2, and remember our clock goes around this way, our clock hand goes this way. So it's right here. So what did it just pass? It just passed the 2. And then this one says almost. So it passed the 2. What hour is it almost to? Thinking about it goes this way. It's almost pointing to the middle of the 3. It's not pointing to the middle of the 3 yet, so it's almost 3 o'clock. And then here, it's pointing directly at the middle of the 3, so it's 3 o'clock. Let's fill those in on your paper. Now go ahead and turn to page 521 turn to page 521. We're going to go through some of the apply it problems. Draw the hour hand to show the time. You're going to want to pay attention to key words. Like this one just says 8 o'clock. So you want your hour hand to point directly to the middle of the 8 o'clock. Now I know you're still building your fine motor skills, which is your hand skills, and that's okay. Just do the best you can to point right to the middle of the 8, okay? This keyword says almost 9. So if it's almost 9, it means it's going to be past 8. 9 would be pointing right at the middle of 9. Almost 9 is going to be pointing like at the bottom of the 9. So it's not pointing to the middle of the 9. Almost 9. Go through, let's do 2 more together. Which hour hand shows 11 o'clock? Circle the clock. So we're looking for the hour hand that shows 11. If it's showing 11 o'clock, it will point right to the middle of 11. Oh, this is tricky. So this one's pointing almost to the 12. So it's not this one. That's pointing to almost 12. This one looks like it's pointing a little bit past the 11. That one looks like it's just past 11. Really hard though. This one looks like it's pointing right in the middle of the 11, which tells me this one is 11 o'clock. That was close. So what's tricky about these analog clocks. They're hard to read those hands sometimes. We're gonna do this one. I'm skipping to number 6, so make sure you're on problem number 6 with me. You'll go back and do 5 on your own. Draw the hour hand to show the times. Just past 7. So you're going to want to pay attention to these keywords, just past. So you want your hour hand to be just past 7. Over here, you want your hour hand to be almost 8. And here you want it to be exactly 8 o'clock. And I will let you finish that after this video. And I'm going to go back to this number 5. Make sure you pay attention to this key word, which hour hand shows almost 6 o'clock. So make sure you pay attention to those keywords, almost 6. Go ahead and complete pages 521 and 522 on your own, and you do not have an exit ticket today, but I do want to do our chant one more time. Ready? Hour, minute, tick tock, boom. Time to listen. All right, my friends, work hard on those apply it problems and make sure you pay attention to those keywords almost and just past.